Welcome everyone to our live show. Here we are.
Welcome.
I know I'm Gie Brown from Hanging with the Browns, and
My name is Robyn Heron, and I am your CarnivorusGrama. Today, we are diving into a topic that is essential for life, and that topic is water.
that's right, Robyn. We have a special guest. We've had him on before. Water was so important. That's the thing that reached out. Benjamin L. Smith, the author of Why Are You Sick? Today, we're focusing on the water portions of his book and how critical water is to our health.
All right. Let's bring Benjamin in. Hey, Benjamin.
Yeah, thank you
Welcome.
for joining us.
Hello.
Hey,
Nice to see you guys again.
I
Good to see you
know.
again, too, Benjamin. We're so happy to have you back. And we want to just welcome you again to our show and ask you to start by giving us a brief overview of why water is so important according to your ultimate health model.
Of course,
All right.
introduce yourself and then let us know.
Okay. So water is basically essential for everything. It's essential for life. But a little bit about me is, I wrote that book, Why Are You Sick? And How to Reclaim Your Health with the Ultimate Health Model. And so if we just go straight into the water is obviously one of the topics in the book, which I find is obviously very important. So it's hard to talk about water without just saying it's everything. It's really everything in life, in the universe. It's just everything. And so I wrote notes down to make sure I cover everything here. And
good.
so let's just get at it, and to help the people listening, our friends listening, and we'll just go from there.
Well, let me just add this then,
Yeah.
Ben. So we all know water is vital, but
Mhm.
could you explain why you believe many people aren't getting enough of it or
Mhm.
the right kind of it?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say people aren't getting enough of it, that is absolutely true. 75% of people are chronically dehydrated. That's an approximation in these statistics. Why are they not getting enough or getting the right kind of water?
Mhm.
Is because everything we're doing in society today is causing chronic dehydration. And I'd like to refer to my model, because that's why people aren't getting enough water, if that makes sense. Meaning that they are drinking water, but they're causing themselves chronic dehydration by everything on the model in the book that I created. So that's we kind of need to show. We can either show them the model on the screen, and then we'll explain what's going on. Can you hear me okay still?
Yes, we muted ourselves so we don't interfere with your
Okay.
talking. So we're muted. That's why we're nodding our heads. Is this the one you need?
Well, both of
No,
them.
the
Yeah, there's
chronic
the
disease.
green side and the red side. So when you said, are people getting enough water? They think they are. They're drinking 3 glasses, 5 glasses a day, whatever it might be. But all these factors in this blueprint are causing dehydration. So you can drink water, keep drinking water, but if you engage in these factors, it's going to cause dehydration. So it's on a feedback loop in those circles. So let's just give an example. People go, okay, I eat fruit, I eat vegetables, I drink bottled water, I'm fine. Well, you're not, because it's not just the sugar because there's sugar and refined carbs on here and processed foods, but stress causes chronic dehydration. The electronic devices we're on right now cause chronic dehydration. And so what that's doing, if you look on the circles, that chronic dehydration is causing chronic inflammation. And I'm sure all the people listening, or most of them, have heard the term chronic inflammation, but they probably haven't associated those two together, because chronic inflammation means chronic dehydration. And what's really important, Robyn, is if you look on that mitochondrial dysfunction on those circles, I wrote this down. It's not the water you drink per se. It is about the water that your mitochondria make. Let me say that again. It's not about the water you drink. It's about the water the mitochondria make. So when you process food, whether it's carbohydrates or fats or proteins or whatever it might be, the byproduct of that is water and carbon dioxide and energy. So think about it. If your mitochondria are dysfunctional in some way, then it's going to affect that. So does that make sense?
Yes.
I know. So listen, okay, I think you're kind of hitting it for me, because what I'm going through, so I did not get my other device. So don't come for me.
It's okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So I try to, with this, this is 46 ounces. I try to do a couple of them a day, just some I hit, some I don't. Overall, it's 1.5 to possibly 2.5 that I'll do. But I noticed that I'll use the restroom and can't hold it throughout the night, that I'll get up 1 to 2 times in the process of me drinking the water. So what you just said is like ping, ping, because I'm taking the water in, but the water is not. That's the biggest thing. The water is not where it needs to be, because I'm peeing it out. Yep. So I'm gonna need you to help with that.
So I also want to chime in on this as well, because what you're talking about is dysfunctional mitochondria, right? So I just had a short live stream with Dr. Philip Ovadia, who started to talk about the mitochondria, and that being the powerhouse of the cell, and how these different factors are causing our mitochondria to be dysfunctional. And it sounds to me like this is also tying in with that, this chronic dehydration, or dehydration of the cell not being able to produce water in the way that it should. Am I with you here?
Yeah, you are. So it's water does everything. And I think that's what our friends listening understand. If your body is 70% water by volume, it's actually approximately 99 out of 100 molecules are water in your body. So think about that for a second. It's really profound. And when I realized that, I read that, I had an aha moment. I'm like, okay, I need to know everything I possibly can about water. And if I understand water to the best of my ability, I'm going to understand my health. And when I say understand water, nobody understands water, really. Meaning that they understand it's hydrogen and oxygen, right? And the molecules are, for chemistry, a quick chemistry class, there's 2 hydrogens atoms attached to 1 oxygen atom. And that's, the chemistry about water. But they don't know the social aspects of water. That's a very misunderstood topic, as well as it's almost ethereal what water can do. And we can talk about that later, but water is consciousness. And I think we discussed that last time
We
a
did.
little bit. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And so it's really, to break this down for our listening friends, it's just about respecting water like our ancients did. And whatever you can do in that aspect to respect water, whether it's blessing it, thanking it, you know, um, provide the right minerals with it, because we talked about minerals and water structure together. That's what electrolytes are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why electrolytes are so important, because they're minerals, and without minerals, the water can't structure, meaning in a basic sense, it can't perform its functions.
Okay, so what I think about in regards to this point, and then Robyn has to bring her thing in.
Mhm.
A lot of times we say you can go without food, but you can't go without water.
Yep.
And here's the thing: a lot of times people think, "Man, I don't even drink that much water. So what do you mean I can't go without water?"
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, but let me just tell you, when those cells start to
Dehydrate.
dehydrate,
It's
where
bad
you
news.
look down and you can't tap a vein, so
Mhm.
that's letting you know you are starting to do just like a prune,
Yep.
do just like fruit sitting out. If you let it sit out, forget the mold aspect of it, as it dehydrates. I actually, as a matter of fact, while we aren't here, I'm gonna cut my camera off and I'm gonna run to my stove. I have because this is something that my grandson, who's texting me now, really likes. I like to do little things. So Frederick, I boiled some eggs and I peeled the eggs, but he forgot one of the eggs.
Mhm.
I didn't want an egg, so I left the egg sitting out. This now, I'm gonna go, like I said, I'll go get it. It's going to demonstrate to you what happens to you if you don't drink that water.
Mhm.
That is like so important. And then I'm in a
Mhm.
whole nother aspect about kidneys right now with
Mhm.
everything that went on with Frederick. And so
Mhm.
even with that, I am like, listen, this is like so important. Yeah, go ahead with your next
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
you
Let
want to say,
me say
Robyn.
something really quick about that, Gie. When you were just saying a second ago about how people go, I don't drink water, I'm fine. They're not fine. They think
Mm-hmm.
they're fine, but they're not fine. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you're a kid, you have less inflammation, right? Chronic inflammation. So if you eat a bunch of cookies and candy and fast food and pizza and run around and whatever, it matters, but not as much as if you have the chronic inflammation and you're older. And so why does that matter? Well, just like our model shows, the chronic inflammation causes mitochondrial function, which causes chronic dehydration. See, that's why this model is really almost, it's almost like researchers and scientists could look at this and make experiments from it, because there's so much to glean from it. Not to brag about it, but it really is. Every time I look at it, there's something else you can learn from it. And also, what I want to say quickly too, Robyn and Gie, is that when you said about how the person said, "Well, I don't drink water." Well, what's going on inside your body is water is always managing itself in a drought
Mm-hmm.
management system. So if you don't drink it, the body's okay. Let's figure out how we're going to manage all this water that we have for all the organs and all the tissues in our body. So what we're going to do is, all right, skin, you're out of luck. You don't get any water. Screw you. The heart's going to get it, the lungs, the liver, the brain. The skin, too bad. You're not essential. We're going to pull the water out of the skin and feed it to the heart. And what's really fascinating about this is when you're in a dehydrated state, the cells have receptors on them. that actually force feed water into the cell in a filtration system, almost like a shower head thing. So it injects just a little bit of water into cells as necessary. So that's one of the reasons you get high blood pressure is because of chronic dehydration, because the cells have these, like I said, these receptors that inject just the right amount of water to feed the cells, the critical cells. When I read that, I was like, this is fascinating.
And so this actually, this actually leads me.
Here we go again. Go ahead, Robyn.
It kind of leads me to our question in that, I mean, like Gie said, we're drinking this giant thing of water. It's 40 ounces, drinking like 2 or 3 of these a day, but yet we're still chronically dehydrated. So that means that all water is not created equal, right? So can you just talk a little bit about what types of water, like how would you get water that's actually going to allow your body to come out of this chronic dehydration state?
Well, the first thing is understand about the bottle too, right? You do the things on the green side that will lead to quote unquote water more structured and what we're talking about structured water. Structured water is water that is in a altered molecular pattern. So for the listening friends, let me explain like this. You have an element carbon, which is everywhere. Carbon's everywhere, right? It's the dirt. It's a graphite and a pencil lead, but it's also a diamond. Now, what's fascinating about that is they're all carbon. And so the only thing that's different is the structure of the molecules. So structure is what is probably the most important part of life. Not the element, it's still important, but not as important as a structure. Okay. So back to what I was saying, when you do all those things on the green side, you help to structure the water. And when the water is structured in these patterns, it's able to pass information more easily. Because think about it like this. Have you ever seen those plates they put sand on it and then they vibrate it with water? Have you seen those experiments? And then the higher the vibration, the more beautiful the pattern is. You seen that? It's the same principle.
Yes, I'm not. I forgot. I'm on mute. Yes, I have seen that. And your water is beautiful. There's a lot of things that you can do, and I find myself since our last interview talking to it much more. I am not kidding.
Good.
Look, you better come on and hydrate your vessel, girl. I want to. When I said that people feel that they are drinking enough water and getting enough of this vital resource, but at the same time they feel like I'm not having any of those symptoms. I'm fine. I can get up. I can do this. It's not only with water, it's like that with food. So when you turn around and you share with them what's going on, where they can improve, you look at, they sell it in the store. So I know it's okay for me to drink in because it would have a warning label. It would this. No. All of these things that are out there are, no warning labels. All of these different water, the Propels and the Gatorades, and just water. But
yeah, let me interrupt really quick with that, just because it's important. 30%, only 30% of your hydration needs comes from food. This a really important point that people don't know. So for our vegan friends that might be listening, you're eating watermelon, this and that. Really, approximately 30% is only coming from food. So if you're not drinking pure water or structured water or these different things, And then when you drink the Coke or the Gatorade, like you're talking about, what's in Gatorade? Sugar. And just like our model shows, so you just got points on the blueprint. Okay, if sugar is to cause chronic dehydration, then now you at least know what's going on. So drinking coffee, orange juice, it doesn't matter. Even with coffee, people, coffee is not sugar. Well, the problem with coffee, it's a stimulant, it's a drug. So any kind of drug or stimulant is going to cause cellular oxidative stress, and that's going to cause dehydration. So it's all a circle. And when people really understand this blueprint and this model, they're going to have a lot of aha moments about what they're doing.
Okay, so let's move towards the quality of water and its impact. Let's talk about quality. Many people drink tap water or bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on these? Are they really as safe as we think?
Mm-hmm. So tap water, it depends on where you live and what's in it. So my sister lives in the Lake Tahoe area. Where Lake Tahoe, Nevada, Marina border, or California border. I believe the water comes right from Lake Tahoe. I'm not positive on that, but I believe their water is really good to drink. Now, what's put in it, I don't know, as far as fluoride, chlorine, and different things. But in general, water is probably not good to drink because it has toxins that have not been able to be sufficiently removed from the water. So I wrote some notes here. Pharmaceuticals, medications, birth control pills, they try to filter them out in the water treatment facility, but there's still stuff left behind. And the other thing that our friends listening need to know is that it's not just remove the toxins, let's say, the energetics of those pollutants are still in the water because the water holds all information. Makes sense?
So you mean to tell me some people might not be getting pregnant because of all the people on birth control pills that have peed in the toilet and the water went back, and you cannot, it's called an acceptable amount. That is what's left in the water. And I often ask people, well,
what's acceptable?
Wait a minute. This is acceptable, and this is acceptable, and this one, and this one. But when you put them together, at what point do they all become unacceptable? Because you have piled on so much.
Right.
Oh, here we go with this water again.
Yeah. So about that. So what's acceptable to who? To me? To you? I think I don't want any toxins or formants in my water. And people. What's really amazing to me is people, literally pour their pills into the toilet, thinking it's just going to evaporate into outer space or something. I don't know what they're thinking, but where do you think that's going to go?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are doing it, but you see what I'm saying? It's like all these people throwing this stuff, and then it goes to the water treatment facilities, and then they take, and neutralize all these things, and then they put chlorine and fluoride and all these chemicals to make the water safe to drink. But what I was just saying a second ago is from the more of the spiritual side and the energetics of water, like we said a second ago about how water is the social water and the energetics of it. That's still in the water. So you're still drinking that bad energy, so to speak.
Right.
And you're saying about bottled water, it's the same thing. Let's say I live in California, and there's some companies that get their water right from a mountain spring, supposedly, right? But it's put in plastic bottles. They have to, I believe, ozonate it. I'm not sure about the exact, legal ramifications for making it something you can drink. But it's coming from the mountain. They put it in a tanker. It gets transported to you. It's not living anymore. There's no life in the water because even though it's spring water, it's been, treated. It's probably better than tap water, but just now that people are listening to this, just understand water is a living thing. Treat it with respect.
You're coming right up on my next question, and that is the topic of living water. This is a scriptural concept. I think about it in terms of the word of God, because that's where I first heard it about living water. So can you talk a little bit about what do you mean that the water is living? What is living water?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we incorporate living water into our daily lives?
So living water is water in nature, right? Basically, meaning that hasn't been bottled, it's not been, altered in from a water treatment facility, something like that. Water in a spring, water in a river, a lake, something like that. This water that's living has microbes in it, beneficial bacteria, all kinds of living things in there that are working synergistically with the water. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's got a bacteria in there, an E. coli, it's gonna make me sick. Well, if it's sitting in a pond, maybe still, but spring water is really the best kind of water to drink if you can find it or get to it, because that water is living. I go to the mountains where I live and bottle my own water. And that water, it's been underground for 1,000 years, 10,000 years. I don't know. But it comes to the surface, and through going through all the rocks and all the earthworms and the protists and the different bacteria in the soil, all that's interacting with the water. And we didn't touch on this, but on filters, they use carbon filters, right, to filter water. Well, what's Earth? It's one big carbon filter.
Yeah, it is.
So I believe that the water coming from underground to a natural spring where it comes out of the ground, that's been filtered for hundreds or thousands of years. That water's probably pretty damn good.
So like well water?
Yeah, well, depending on where you live, how deep the well is,
Right.
there's a lot of factors involved, and so I think for our friends listening, you just understand that respect water, and then everything falls into place. The structure of the water, maybe, people can start reading about water and how it's structured, and there's something called water that the scientists, public, a lot of people are talking about. It's structured water and living water is water in our bodies. Because think about it. If the water in the spring has the bacteria and the different microbes in it and the minerals, what's inside your body? Minerals, microbes, bacteria, protozoa, different kinds of all this living stuff. So people think about these things. That's it.
All right. So now that we have a clearer understanding of the importance of quality of water, what are some practical tips that you recommend ensuring that we stay properly hydrated every day? Share some practical advice on the water intake, timing, hydration. Give us what do I need to do since I keep urinating this out?
Well, real basic. They need to do the things on the green side of the blueprint. So if you want to bring that up again, because I think we showed the red side, but when we show the green side, and that's going to really help people understand. So all those factors on the bottom, the yellow, that's going to increase your hydration. That's going to make it so you're not taking it out as much, and it's going to hydrate the cells. It's really that simple.
Hey, Robyn, can you read from yours the positive lifestyle factors, just
Yes,
in case, because some people might be on a cell phone and can't see what's in that yellow box.
absolutely. So it says positive thoughts and emotions, stress management, nose breathing.
If you want me to stop on one of those, I can do that. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you stop me where you think you need to have chime in.
Well, okay, nose breathing. That's super important. You lose, I think, 25% or maybe 2%. I'm not sure the number of hydration of water in water vapor when you mouth breathe. But people don't. They have no idea, because when you nose breathe, your nose is a perfect filter. It moisturizes the air, it humidifies it, it sterilizes it, it pressurizes it. The body is not dumb. It does everything all the time, instantaneously, to keep you alive 24 hours a day. And so that's a hydration point. And so then, if you think about it, if nose breathing increases or decreases inflammation, it's going to, by nature, because of all the circles that are, it's going to increase hydration. And nose breathing, by definition, is going to boost mitochondrial function. That's why this model is so important for people to really understand, because of there's so much to learn from it.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
Okay, so the next one is quality and sufficient sleep. The next one is consuming mineral rich water.
Let's stop on sleep for 1 second.
Okay.
If you get good sleep as opposed to bad sleep, you reduce your inflammation, and you also boost your immune system. So why they talk about people that have bad sleep are more prone to getting a possible chronic disease? It's all related.
Absolutely. This one is close to my heart because I get awful sleep. So this is something that I'm really trying to work on around sleep hygiene and getting better quality of sleep. And so definitely trying to work on that. Okay, so the next one is consuming mineral-rich water.
And let me stop you back on the sleep part, because you just mentioned that, Robyn.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to find this really interesting. Sunlight is one of the factors on there. Okay. I take a walk every morning and every night without fail to see the sunrise and the sunset. Why is that important? Well, you're talking about sleep. So we'll talk about sunset first. So when you look and when you take a walk at sunset for only 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the sun in your eyes without sunglasses helps to start the production of melatonin, as well as it starts stem cell mobilization in the body to help repair and renew cells. So when you walk in the morning and night, you're setting your biological clock, your circadian rhythm. And I'm sorry, I wanted to stop you there, because this is critical that not a lot of people are talking about. And you said you were having problems sleeping. You do that in the morning and night, and I'm confident your sleep will get better. So in the morning, quickly, when you get the sunlight, the sunrise in your eyes without sunglasses, it's the precursor to all your hormones, vitamin D, testosterone, estrogen, every one of them. So getting that sunlight in your eyes starts that. It also starts the production of not cholesterol, cortisol. Cortisol is actually an anti-inflammatory. Everyone, badmouths cholesterol. It's when cholesterol's in excess. That's the problem. So it starts the production.
Cortisol.
No, you just said you interchange
he's talking about
cortisol and
cortisol.
cholesterol.
Oh yeah,
So
cortisol.
okay.
Yeah, cortisol.
Cortisol is the word that you want.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Right.
And also, besides it starts the production of hormones, it lowers your blood pressure. It preps your skin for melatonin, so you won't burn during the day as likely. It produces or starts the production of vitamin D, lowers cholesterol level. So I think people need to understand that this walking and getting the sun in your eyes without is vitally important that people don't talk about of some of the reasons they might have a problem or chronic condition.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I thought
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, because I actually started doing that, walking morning and evening. But since I came back from Gie and Frederick's 20th anniversary cruise, I have not walked in the morning at sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I need to get that. And I was just talking about that on my video this morning. Like, okay, I've got to get back to the morning walking. I've been walking in the evening, but not in the morning since I've been back.
And both are important, like we're talking about, because your circadian rhythms is what runs your body. And I like to use an analogy, Gie and Robyn. Imagine you're in an office and nobody knows what they're doing. So somebody is on their computer playing games, somebody's eating food, someone else is dancing, and someone else is working. How are things going to get done?
Right.
And so this sets your biological clock. So the body knows, okay, I'm going to do this during the day. I'm going to eat. I'm going to, do things. And at night, I'm going to rest and repair. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
listen. Oh, let me show y'all this egg that I told y'all about.
Okay.
All right. So hold on. I really, really, really want you to see the egg. So let me do it like this. All right. This started out a boiled egg, right? And of course, my grandson has come and broken some of the pieces off of it. But this is the egg itself.
Oh.
There's your yolk, and that's your white.
Wow.
With no water.
This
is what happens to you. This was a valid boiled egg, right?
Wow.
Didn't have the shell on it, and it just sat out. And then as it started turning, I was like, oh, my grandson would love that. Now, this has been out probably 4 months now.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. And so what we haven't done yet is cut the yolk, but
let me say something about eggs. You're going to find this fascinating. Yeah, this is really, this will blow your mind. So anything that's in that shape, an egg shape, is a way for water to structure. So eggs are one of the best foods you can eat. What I mean, all the white, the albumin of the egg is basically structured water. It's a gel-like. That's what that is. People, I don't know how many people are listening, but I hope they're sitting down when they listen when I say this. Water, the way water is structured in nature is it flows, right? Side to side in a river, something like that. It's constantly flowing. Did you know that the water in an egg is constantly flowing? What do I mean by that? The shape of an egg, or a seed for that matter, the way the egg is shaped, the water goes up in the middle and then comes back down the sides, and it condenses. The cooler water sinks, kind of like in science and meteorology. Here, cold water sinks, hot water rises. It's constantly going this. So the water is constantly circulating in an egg, which is structuring it even more. That's why egg is one of the most perfect foods. not to mention all the minerals in the yolk and the vitamins and everything you need. But I don't know, not many people understand is that the water, the egg white is actually constantly structuring because of the shape of an egg. Same with a seed, right? Like a seed does the same thing. When you break apart a seed, unless it's like vegetable oils, you break apart a seed, that's the baby of the plant. There's antioxidants in that seed with it. But when you eat vegetable oils, you lose all those antioxidants, especially vitamin E. And so they crush the seed, they press it, they deodorize it to make the vegetable oils. No wonder they're oxidized. It's really, it's just something, a kind of an aha moment. Go, wow, okay, nature's perfect.
That it is. That it is. So listen, I've enjoyed this once again in regards to water. I wanted to kind of stick with the water aspect because I believe, especially, I'll say it again, once with what Frederick is going through, how important it is to stay hydrated. And where we think that we are, because I'm guilty, I'm one that is, I just repeated what I used to say. I do. I eat my vegetables. There's water inside of the vegetables. There's hydration in everything that I'm eating. Plus, no, like a week would go by. This is in my prior life. Maybe 2 bottles of water. That was about all that you were getting. And we wonder why things are happening. So it's like we're saying to you that with what you're eating and not taking in water, one of the side effects is high blood pressure. But then they turn around and tell you it was the salt that you took in, but it was not the salt. This could literally have a lot to do with hydration. There's swelling in the body.
Well, let me explain something really quickly about salt and hydration. In my book, I write this. The reason that the salt is causing high blood pressure is because most people are eating a processed food diet, which is lacking in water. So it's that balance between salt and water. It's not the salt, it's the balance. So you're eating a high processed diet, then the salt's up here, the water's down here. Of course, it's going to cause high blood pressure because the body has to maintain the volume of water outside the cell and inside the cell.
I want to add one more thing to what you said, because I experienced this when I was trying to water adapt myself. So ladies, a lot of times your fingernails are not growing, dehydration, because your brain has said, oop, nails, you're not going to get any.
Perfect.
We're sitting here with dry skin, right? It's like, oh, my skin itching. But we can sell you cuticle creams, we can sell you lotions, body butters, we can sell you all of that. We've learned how to make money off of the fact you're not hydrating yourself. So what are other things? So your nails can slow down, your hair can slow down, your skin can start itching, all because your body is going to conserve. So when you
it has to manage the water, it has to manage the water giving it.
Yeah, wondering why your eyes are turning a little yellow,
or they're dry.
It's
all the same problem.
Yes. Your mouth, water.
You want to make water your best friend. You want to live, breathe, sleep water, which is obviously what you do anyway, because everything around us is just water. But just start to understand water. And then you're going to understand most of your conditions that you're suffering from. Constipation. What do you think that is?
So I want to ask this one last question. Last time we met, Benjamin, you talked about your mom, and you said that your mom was a little bit skeptical when you started talking about structured water. But now your mom is a huge proponent, like she's all over it. with the structured water. So
Yeah.
I really wanted to kind of hear a little bit of her testimonial of what happened. Why did she change her mind? What was it
Yeah.
about it that got her like ramped up about structured water?
Absolutely. So when I was writing my book, I remember a couple of years ago, I went down to visit them, and they live in Los Angeles. I live in the Bay Area in California. And I went down to visit, and I said, "Mom, I'm writing this book." I said, this is the order of the chapters, breathing's first, then sleeping, then structured water. I remember seeing the car, she's all, no, don't do that. Nobody's going to know what you're talking about. They'll think you're nuts. I said, Mom, no, I have to. Trust me, I know I've read about water for years, and this is how important it is. So, long story short, I actually purchased for them, for their house, a structuring device from the company I get my stuff from. And I thought, because I knew, I said, Mom, you got to try this. She goes, okay. Well, before I did that, I bought her the portable devices.
And let me just tell the audience, if you go to his website, Ultimate Health Model, you'll find the links of what he's talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So there are these bottles, and what the water is doing, it's structuring, because it's this little, you want me, should I show them right now? Want me to grab it?
I think Robyn is doing something.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's grab it.
Go ahead and talk about it. Yep. Oh, okay. Well, listen, while he's doing that, I'm going to keep talking to let you guys know that a lot of this that we are going through is that, he's back.
Okay. So this is what they are. It's really simple. See this thing right here? Mm-hmm. So what you do is you put water in this one, preferably, spring if you can get it, or filtered, or something like that, or even reverse osmosis. But whatever water you can get, even tap water, because it takes. What's fascinating is this device. It won't remove the actual contaminants, but it removes the energetics of the contaminants.
Okay.
You see how important that is?
So it basically powers them down, is what you're saying.
Well, it basically puts them in another dimension. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It takes them, the energetics away from the pollutants and the negativity, literally. So you put the water in here, and then you flip it over like this, and you attach them together. It's that simple. Hold on, as I break them. Oops, that would not be good.
Please don't.
You attach them together, and then you spin it over, and the water spins in a vortex into the other one. And inside here, once again, there's minerals and magnets, a magnetic field, just like the Earth has a magnetic field. Mm-hmm. And so and the spinning is that spinning in nature, in a stream or a river. And what's your audience might find fascinating, you know what happens in your blood vessels? Your blood vessels are mostly water, right? Blood is water, 80% water. A lot of people don't understand this, but your blood actually vortexes just like that. It's not flowing like this in your blood vessels.
No.
It's flowing like this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What's that doing? It's structuring it. So your body has to structure the water to use it. 50%, approximately 50% of your energy every single day goes to structuring water.
So if we're drinking the structured water,
it's getting a lot of energy to do other things.
Wow. So is that what happened to your mom? Did she get in?
Yes. So sorry, back to my mom. Yeah. So she started drinking it. Like, oh my God, this water tastes so good. I feel so good. I'm under all this stress. I'm not getting sick. And then she started making bottles and bottles of it and giving it to people. And
Oh,
then
and to answer the question, once it's structured, it keeps the structure. It's not like you structure it, it sits, you got to structure it again.
No.
If you structure, you bottle it into some glass containers, a picture or whatever.
Stay structured forever.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to, go ahead.
Yeah. So I said, Mom, I'm going to buy you the one for the house. It was like $1,000. It's a lot of money. And $1,000 approximately. And so I bought it, and she finally got installed. It took a couple months. She said that the water in the shower, it started kind of build up of calcium because what it was doing in the toilet, it cleaned the toilet because it's taking all the minerals out of the pipe. So it's taking the minerals out of the pipes and dissolving it into a different compound.
That's
It turns calcium into something called argonite, which can be dissolved. What do you think that's doing in your blood vessels? It's taking calcium buildup. Possibly. I'm not gonna say positive.
We're not. Let's do that disclaimer now.
This is information only.
This is information.
It takes calcium. You've heard the calcium score for the heart and all that. This is taking calcium, and actually, what structured water does is it can convert elements into other things. So it converts the calcium to something called argonite, and that can be dissolved. Fascinating.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah, so she loved it. So she's like, now she just is just a fanatic about it. And there was a conference, a hydration summit in San Diego about 4 or 5 months ago, where the gentleman that invented this device that I use was there. And my mom's like, "Hey, we gotta go see him. Period. He's got to sign my book that I wrote." So we went, and I was. His name was Robert Gurley. I was just really excited to see him because I said, your stuff is going to change the world.
Well, we have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
How much water is too much water for someone with lymphatic issues and circulation issues? Can more water be necessary for better circulation?
Yeah, so that question, how much water is too much water? If the water's not structured, it might be too much water. So let's say you're doing things. So like I said earlier, the water needs minerals to structure. So if you're drinking a ton of water that's not structured, the body pulls minerals from its tissues and bones and structures it. If you drink it structured, and by one of the things on the green side, the body leaves the minerals in the body where it's supposed to be. And she's saying about the water would be necessary for circulation. Absolutely, just like we talked about earlier, the skin. So when your body is under a water management system, a drought system, because you're not giving enough water and you're doing things on the red side, then what it does is waste builds up in tissues that aren't getting water. And so think about the circulation as roads, highways, freeways, and city streets. The big blood vessels are the freeways. The smaller ones are the highways, and the capillaries are the city streets. And so when there's not enough water, the water trucks can't get to those houses and remove the garbage. The garbage builds up, causes acidity, because the cells are not getting the water to get nutrients to themselves, because the nutrients are in the water and the blood, or the waste away. So they have to fend for themselves. So what they do, they start breaking down their own proteins in themselves, in their own cells, as antioxidants. They literally break down their own proteins in these distressed cells that are not getting the water and turn them into antioxidants to help neutralize the waste that's in them because they're not getting the water. The body, sorry, I get really goo, as you can see about it. It's just fascinating. It's
We
incredible.
do. Why do you think we're doing this again? It's the
Yeah, you probably
water.
never talked about this before. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, for those that watch, thank you so much, Benjamin, for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Benjamin.
The
Absolutely.
ultimate health model. That what I've been hearing for those, I've read some of the reviews, just talked about it's an easy to follow read. That was like number one. Why are you no? Is it why are you sick?
Why are you sick?
Yes.
Hydrate,
And
Health, Ultimate Health Model.
there you go. And so it's a very good read. And hold on, I got another comment. I don't want. Oh, she wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Until next time, what you want to add, Robyn?
Well, I just want to appreciate you again, Benjamin. This is so fascinating, talking about the power of water. And it's literally, my mind is like blown. Just the last time we talked, when we met at Hack Your Health, my
I'm
mind
doing my
was
structured water.
blown.
I'm buying my little
About
vortex.
this. Yeah. So
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I want to say to you lovely ladies, sorry.
Do I need to get some
for,
tissue too?
sorry, it just makes me want to. Thank you for believing in me, because you were the first person that believed in me to want to talk about this. I had all this information in my head, and I started talking to you lovely ladies at the thing, and like, oh, we got one on this podcast, and nobody else cared. So sorry.
That's all right. Listen. Okay, a lot of times when we don't have what we classify those initials behind our name, but let me tell you something. God can give a message to anybody. All right, you can miss the message by word about the messenger, and I trust and believe, because I want to say the water in my body is leaping at the sound of your voice. It is saying, make sure that you do this. I'm telling you. So hopefully it's coming across to others that I'm saying to you that water is very important, and all water is not created equal. All right. I really believe that some I drink and pee right out. And it's like, good gracious, I know doggone well you didn't have time to make it through my system. So by the fact that you brought this to my life, I believe you have just extended my life. Yes. So know that your purpose in my life was to extend it even more. And because I'm in a place, and hopefully a lot of the people that's watching this are in a place that you want something different, you want something better, you are tired of your aches, your pains, your joints, and you go, and it's called a practice. When you go to the doctor, that is their practice, because they are practicing on us. Because they really don't know. They're coming from
practicing medicine.
There you go. They're treating symptoms and not changing your life and saying, hey, listen, why would I tell you this? I still have my kids that I need to get through college. I still have vacations. I need to pay off this boat. I need to my wife wants to go on a shopping spree. So why am I going to cure you? I'm going to take care of those symptoms, because this is how I make my living. So I'm saying to you, there's power in water.
Yes. And so it was so powerful for us,
powerful
for us when we met you, and we appreciate all that you're doing. We appreciate you just using your voice to talk about this, because all of these things that we're doing a carnivore diet. We're taking out the processed foods. We're trying to get outside and get the sunlight in our eyes. You know, all of these things play together to make us healthier.
Yeah, and they're all important. And I think, you know, all the people in the carnivore community are great. And I've been on with Dr. Kiltz and a bunch of people, and they all talk about diet, which is fantastic, because I eat a carnivore diet. But there's so much more that's not being discussed. Breathing. I don't think I've ever heard one podcast or YouTube video where somebody who is a carnivore influencer talk about nose breathing?
No,
Any?
I
Have you?
have.
I have.
We
It's not
have.
common, but
No.
it's
Yeah,
definitely out
it
there.
isn't.
Well, what
Right
about
now,
sunlight in your eyes? I've never heard that. Have you
oh,
heard
I can
that?
tell. Look, we've done that on the show. Laura has that's her thing. So on our Monday show, Laura goes out every morning and I do
Okay.
I'm trying to do the earth thing. I said, Laura, I'm
Oh,
having a hard
earthing,
time
yeah,
with
grounding.
I'm having a hard time with this wet grass on my toes. I really, really am.
Right.
And so I'm walking saying, oh, but watch this here. And this we can leave it because I'm really trying to watch the time. I sit here, everything that we come up with takes us back to our ancestors. Like you said, they created this little vortex. What is this structured water device? All because we have all these buildings and all this other stuff around, and we need to get back to basics. Everything from what we eat goes right back to basics, to
Yes.
the our ancestors. And I'm not talking about like 1 or 2
Generations.
generations. There we go. We talk, the generations way back there where you
Hundreds of
were
thousands of
walking
years
out on
ago.
dirt. Think of all the things. So we thought we were smart putting rubber on the bottom of our shoes, but you just disconnected from earth. There's
Yeah.
so many things they're talking about. Cotton, but now we got this polyester and these rayons. These things are not all good for us, but it
Right.
looks cute and they selling it. So why would I not try it? All right. Thank you guys. Ben, we're going to have you on. We're going to attack another aspect of your book. Water will always be part of it, but we're going to attack and dissect another part until we continue, as Carrie would say, healing humanity. All right.
Yes.
And we're going to figure all this out. So until then, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.